All right, good morning. Welcome to the December 2023 WKU Staff Senate meeting. I'm the chair, Jordan Basham. I'd like to call our meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call. Senator Bartley. Present. Regent Brinkley. Present. Senator Hansler is out on a work project today. Senator Chadwick. Present. And Senator Gilbert. Present. Senator Henry. Present. Senator Hopwood is out on supporting commencement production setup and events today. Senator Inglis. Senator Jenkins. Senator Johnson.
Present.
Senator Lindsey Jones. And Senator Rhonda Jones. Senator Calkins.
Present.
Thank you. Senator Moran.
Present.
Senator Purdy.
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair Stoll.
Present.
Senator Vanderpool is out today. Senator Vincent. Present. And Senator Wright. Didn't miss anybody? Senator Finn. Sorry. We'll get you up on the website. I use that. All right. Our next item is the approval of our agenda that was sent out electronically. As long as there aren't any changes, I'll ask that we accept that agenda as it was distributed. Okay, hearing none, we'll consider that accepted. Also sent out electronically were our prior monthly meeting minutes. If no one has any adjustments to those, we'll consider those accepted. Okay, thank you. And we will roll into the Christopher Ware Staff Star Awards. Senator Fitz.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today. I know I say this every time, but it's such an honor to see the great faces and the nominations that are being nominated each month. It just shows a little recognition to what the university staff are doing. So I enjoy this part of the meeting so much. Our first Christopher Ware Staff Star Award goes to Angie Axelith. She is the Office Associate for the Communications and Sciences Disorders. This is from her nominator. I understand that most people will say that their nominee goes above and beyond, but this office person goes into outer space for our department. She has taken on a lot of extra duties to make things run smoothly, as we have had multiple changes in faculty and professional staff and are trying to refill positions. She stays late, works on weekends if she has to, and is dedicated to getting the job done, so our students continue to stay on track with the clinical education. She is an invaluable part of our team, and without her, I honestly do not know how we would function. She has taken on these extra duties and felt the wrath of parents who are upset or complaining, and they don't even know that she is going outside of her required duties to help their child and our clinic. Angie has cried, laughed, and just kept trudging on, determined to get everything done on time for our department, even though these duties are not her own. She willingly volunteered to help out. I admired her work ethic and friendly face each and every day. She stays professional and is understanding if a parent is upset, even though none of this is attributed to anything she has ever done. All she has done is try to help. If we choose Angie for this award, then you will choose the correct person and one who is very deserving and honored for this award. Thank you. Angie, you can come up. Thank you so much. This is thank you. Thank you. I'll just give you that. Okay. Jude, are you trying to get in the picture, buddy?
Oh yeah. The guy that walks around with you.
Our next Staff Star Award goes to Crystal Nuts. Crystal is the coordinator in student services and outreach at the WKU Glasgow campus. I've worked with Crystal a lot, and she is so helpful for our students, and this award is perfect for her. Dr. Derek Strode from the regional will be speaking on her behalf. It's a crowd.
Well, it's a long walk from the back corner where I always sat as a student, but I want to first say thanks to the staff count or the staff senate for the Christopher Ware Staff Awards. This has been a really great addition to our staff culture over the last few years. And I've seen a lot of really deserving staff awarded. And so Crystal specifically is one of those people who I've been wondering, we got to get her nominated and get her awarded one of these. I started working with Crystal about 2.5 years ago with our regional campuses. She's been at our Glasgow campus over 15 years. And Crystal is amazing with students. She's the type who can call a student down when they need to be put on the straight and narrow way. And she can finesse it just right so that it comes off as caring and mothering and supportive, but also to help them recognize that they've got to implement some changes. She works with our students in all sorts of great ways. She's very creative, very inventive. I saw this firsthand. If you've ever been to the Glasgow Christmas parade, as I was this past Saturday evening, which Crystal organized the Glasgow campus's entry into that parade. It is a huge event. It blows your mind how big this parade is. And Crystal can bring people together and bring joy into our students' lives and into our student culture. And Crystal, so much of what we've got going on at the Glasgow campus has its roots back to you and to your creative thinking and to your hard work. And I'm really, really proud of you.
Congratulations and thank you. You'll be in the photo with us? One more. Thank you.
Our final Christopher Ware Staff Star Award goes to Josiah Super. Josiah is a specialist in the School of Teacher Education. This is from his nominator. He has been with the university for over 10 years. His answer is never no and is always extremely helpful. He has worked very hard to grow our Grow Your Own program and help address the teacher shortage while not expecting recognition from it. He will work to find answers to students' questions and is always assisting professors with various issues. Also speaking on behalf of Josiah is Dr. Susan Kesey, the Director of School of Teacher Education.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and we appreciate the chance to honor Josiah. He's been with us for over 10 years, minus a little stint with in the doc program, but he is really the foundation for the teacher of school ed. And this is my 4th year in this role, and he is always there. He's the one who keeps us going and really is the glue that holds the school teacher education together. So Josiah, we really appreciate your efforts. He's with colleagues, with Heidi and with Rachel. He's trained both of those ladies in their roles as he's moved into specialist in the college. He is always there. The Grow Your Own, as was mentioned by the nominee, he is, I was like, Josiah, what if? And he's always there to help us find a way. And he does all the, we can come up with the ideas, but Josiah is the one who is also coming up with ideas, but also the one there to execute them, to figure out how we're going to schedule, how we're going to make this work. And as he has been elevated throughout his role at WKU, we've tried to, he not only takes on his current responsibilities, but the ones that he's had before, we're trying to give away, and all the faculty keep coming back to Josiah. Where's Josiah? I need Josiah's help. And so thank you, Josiah, for all you do. And I'm so excited that we can be here to celebrate you. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right, I dare get out of this.
Thank you.
Thank you all. The great nominees. It seemed like today we had a lot of student service professionals that were nominated, and that says a lot about WKU since we are a university for the students. So don't forget, if you have some nominees, go ahead and fill those out on our website. Thank you.
We'll move on to our officer committee and staff regent reports. We'll start with the staff regent, Regent Brickland.
We will have a final quarterly meeting of 2023 tomorrow at an odd time. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's also on Thursday instead of Friday. In the regents room, the reason for that is once a year, the regents have a dinner before the December recognition ceremonies. And so the way the ceremonies fall this year on Friday has prompted the moving of that meeting. The agenda pairs equally with the committee meetings in October, with just one exception. There's an approval of philanthropic naming of a softball equipment room. That's the only exception that has to be approved in executive as an executive motion. There's a couple of new information items. There'll be an update from philanthropy, and the president's evaluation will be presented. I don't know if that'll be done in summary form. I'm not familiar with how Curry's a new chair this year for the way we're doing that, so he may bring his own flavor to the way we do it versus how Dr. Bale did it. Faculty Regent Shane Spiller and I opted out of the meeting opportunity this week with EVP Haworth because there was no additional material related to the Finance and Budget Committee in all of its items. So it's a pretty straightforward meeting. I don't know of anything that won't get approved unless there's something odd that comes up in discussions. But I will say related to the, remember my role ends as regent on June 30th. I would strongly recommend anyone that is interested in running or interested in becoming the next WKU staff regent, maybe attend in-person accommodation of the regents meetings in March, April, or May. Even certainly the June 10th special call budget approval meeting. That would be a good example of just seeing how that operates, not necessarily when the meeting's going on, but right before and right in the middle and right after. So if anybody has any questions, I'll take them. You can always reach out to me, wkustaffregent@gmail.com, anonymously if you'd like, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Senator Vincent.
No updates.
Thank you. Senator Henry.
Treasurer's report. Our E&G index had no change, starting balance $3,668, ending balance $3,668. Our staff excellence fund, starting balance $1,961.72, one addition of $18.35. No disbursements, ending balance $1,980.57. Our book scholarship has a starting balance of $1,659.84, $10 addition, no disbursements, ending balance $1,669.84. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Senator Gilbert.
No report this time.
Thank you. Senator Moran.
No report.
And Vice Chair Stoll.
No report.
Thank you. Chair Basham. Yeah, I have a report. So the executive committee met last week and we discussed details around prospective dates for the staff region election and the next staff senate election. Spoiler alert, we're going to make an announcement about the details on all of those things at our January 10th meeting. So be sure to tune in for those. But do spend some time over the break thinking about if that's the way you'd like to serve your staff community, and either as a member of the next staff senate or the next staff regent. Roughly the rest of that conversation in the executive committee meeting, we didn't have any votes or anything. Just kind of about, current staff morale, overall processes. Nothing really in detail to report from that. From service in the BEC, we wrapped up our informational sessions, last week. Well, and it's December, so it's hard to remember if that was last week or not. But yeah, it was last week. And we'll move on to, preparing a recommendation for salary pool size and use in the spring when we reconvene. So again, we talked about last meeting. If you have suggestions on that, feel free to reach out if you're a member of the general staff, reach out to your local staff senator, or reach out to staff senate at wku.edu. We're happy to hear any suggestions. And that really wraps up my report. We always retain time for public comment in our meetings. But before that, if anybody has any old business, the Senate, any new business?
I think we just need to discuss, or we wanted to make the announcement about, our staff members who are graduating, but they have the certificates or, bachelor's, associates. If you do graduate in December, the pay that the compensation that the university provides will be after January 1st. So that is a policy. If you have any questions, and just make sure that, you let your, supervisor know about graduating so that you can get paid once you receive that degree.
Yeah, and that's not an automatic process. You need to make communication about it, just help the process along. It has to be manually initiated.
Right.
So
And
good.
you can get ones for certificates, associates, bachelor's, master's, specialist, and doctoral degrees. It does say they're limited to three different degrees per employee at a time at WKU.
Thank you.
So if you get an associate's and then a bachelor's and a master's, you could get compensation for that as well.
Anyone else?
We also need to discuss the Sodexo. We had an email that was received
Oh, okay.
about about the cleaning schedule. They were wanting to know more about if that was in the contract, if they were contracted to take the 5 and now they're not taking us 5 days a week. Is that something you have found out any information about?
Yeah, so when that was announced after our last meeting, I guess the 7th, I reached out to Brian Russell and Ken and asked, and then actually a conversation in BC. The way I understand it, there's been an amendment to that contract. The idea of the effort was cost savings overall. So without knowing go ahead.
An amendment to which contract?
The Sodexo contract on there. That's what was referenced.
Those cost savings to the university or to Sodexo?
I would probably guess the university. Yeah.
Who do we need to contact, like if we need a garbage can in our hall? Because they'll take the ones that, if I don't have a garbage can in my hall, I have to go outside and dump, which is fine, I don't care at all, I mean, I'm grown.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know, like, do I contact like facility?
Well, you can, so in that email that, was it whoever sent the email about the trash change, they referenced Kenny.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be a good point. If you know who your building coordinator is,
Maybe sure.
that might be one too.
Okay.
That may just be somebody who the trash can is supposed to be there or something like that. But yeah, in my building, I'd be like a building coordinator.
Yeah,
David, the building coordinator, so you can just go to him.
Yeah.
we carried the trash out yesterday.
We did.
I did the part of the first and third floors, and Jordan did the second, so. I don't have a comment right now on that. Again, I'm not gonna ask anybody to do it if I'm not willing to do it. That's just the way I am, but also the trash cans are full. And I don't think people should have to work in that environment, when it's a simple fix, and it had clearly been more than 7 days. That's all. I'm not prepared to say anything else on it. And I don't have a good feeling about it.
That's one of those things that I asked the staff senate yesterday, kind of what their experience had been, and it was a range of responses. So that's another thing, like we can reach out to Kenny and let him know what building you're in. If you're experiencing, I'll say if you're experiencing a good experience with it or bad. So they can know areas that are successful and where there's problems.
I just don't see how, I mean, I guess if it's cost saving, I mean, we're not seeing that cost saving on my side, but I mean, I don't see how it's successful that we used to have our trash taken out, now we don't, but I mean, we're still getting ours once a week, which is fine, and like I said, I'm a grown person, I can take my trash out, but it also is something that, you know, we were kind of spoiled to it as well, and some people don't use as much trash, but I have a lot of trash. So,
Let me just quickly add though, it's not the people that are emptying the trash and that are cleaning the restrooms, they're doing nothing wrong. They're only
Oh,
doing, they're doing what they're told. I want to
Okay.
stress that. And that I just don't want to give the appearance that I'm criticizing, because I know the lady that is over our building in Jody Richards Hall, right? She split that. I mean, she's always done an outstanding job.
Oh, yeah. we've always-
So I just want to stress that.
On another note of that, though, being in the maintenance side under Sodexo, maintenance has dropped. You know, the amount of work orders that we used to complete, the maintenance, you know, that we used to do on campus as maintenance workers has dropped. What I'm trying to say.
They bill people for fixing doors that should be a maintenance issue.
Or the things that we used to be tasked to do, the work orders that we used to complete are no longer under their service contract. But yet I've been here for 10 years and I've done these same things for, you know, 8 of those years. So why are these things changing now? You know, I understand cost savings, but my department alone is down 16 people. So, I mean, you're talking about 16 positions. Is that not enough cost savings?
Where's that money go? Does that go to Sodexo or does that stay with
University,
Western?
does the university absorb those positions or, you know, because we have no idea. Being in DFM, we have no idea. That's part of the reason that I wanted to be a senator, is to try to find out why and how. So. But as far as the trash goes, I mean, it's all over maintenance. Like I said, we used to do things so much more than what we do now. And I don't mind the work, trust me. So, but that's my 2 cents on that.
So you're saying, the work that you used to do is now going to Sodexo, or is it just not?
It's either
Going to outside
either
contract
outside contractors, or it just doesn't get done because
because the
work order-
manager says it's not under their contract. They
Right.
don't get paid.
the work order will be rejected before we ever get a hold of it. You know, before we ever see anything, the work order will be rejected by management as outside of their scope of work, you know, outside of that serviceable contract.
Oh, so like, if I requested something and I wanted a doorknob change, they said, no, you're not gonna do it, then I would have to hire someone else to do it.
That happened the other day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you guys are managed by Sodexo, is that, but you guys work for WKU. So it's WKU fund, but managed. So they get to control what work is being happening.
They also control our raises.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's-
most of the time, the 2% raises, we get our 1% and then it's kind of a buddy system. If you're a buddy with the manager, you'll get a raise. If not, you're not getting it.
That's why there's such a DFM presence in staff senate race.
And we probably shouldn't be saying this, but it is what it is.
Don't worry, nobody can see it.
I know who we are, that's fine.
I think it's an okay place to express what your experience is.
Has other people ran into, I mean, I'm not a building coordinator, so I
Yeah.
don't request stuff, and I'm not familiar with that stuff.
No, but you can explain something that happened to me. I requested something that I had requested 5 or 6 times since I worked here. And it didn't get done, and so I checked on the work order and saw it had been rejected. And my service guy for the building had never even seen the work order.
It was rejected.
It was rejected on the Sodexo side.
That happens every day.
And I was just like, what do you guys, he said, I don't know why he said, I know I've done this for you before, I don't know why they rejected it. I ended up doing it myself. So I can go ahead and get it
We
to you.
experienced that with you guys.
I've had,
Athletics get it a lot worse than most others.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a work order rejected within minutes of submitting it, but I. reached
But
out.
it's not us, it's.
No,
it's our manager.
believe me, we know.
You know, and I asked my guy, I'm like, hey, what happened to this? And he was like, oh, I didn't even know that was recorded. I wish I could already got to me. I was like, how is that even possible when this is something that you've done for me before?
Well, I mean, it's just like any of you dealing with, whoever the students or whoever you deal with on a daily basis. That reflects poorly on us, and none of us
Which
like.
is why I go ahead and take care of it.
Right.
Cause I can't just sit around and, wait 6 weeks for us to send out for a third party to come take care of it. And I had this conversation the other day about the soul track thing and how it does make us look bad, not just to students, but to prospects and people coming in. Like, it doesn't reflect well on Western as a whole.
There was something noted, sorry. Noted to me about this the other day, and it was, when we're not on campus. So let's think about after, say, the 15th until January, whatever. There's a lot of people who visit campus. And if the campus doesn't look good and there's trash and the restrooms are, and again, this has largely been handled in the past. But little things like that, like if you walk through buildings right now, and maybe today's trash day, who knows, but I can tell you yesterday was not. And I would not want to take a tour on what I saw in the academic complex yesterday. So, and again, I want to stress, I'm not criticizing anybody that actually works in the building. But I don't know enough about the economics of these decisions to comment on them, but I have got concerns.
And and you had said something about the maintenance. I mean, all the years I've worked at WP, everyone has always been the best. And so I think that I would say the majority of the staff know that it's not you guys, but I see where you're coming from, because if it was something beyond my control and I couldn't help this student, I feel it would reflect on me, but even though it was beyond my control, but just know that we appreciate it. And I think everything that you guys do, anywhere I've ever been has been wonderful. And it's sad that, that it, even Andrea didn't know that it was from the upper management that was taken. At least she has a good relationship with her service person, and she realized he didn't see it, but we appreciate, we know you guys are working hard, and we appreciate you being on the Senate and being here and being the voice.
Some of us feel like Sodexo wants us to look bad so that we fail.
Right.
It's kind of how some of us are feeling at this point.
But no, everybody in the university works hard to keep the students here, keep this place running. It's not just us, it's all of you guys, all of us. It's, morale across campus is low. Things that have happened over the past 2 years. And the things that go on with us at DFM, I don't know if the same thing goes on in your departments or not. I just know that we are managed by an outside contractor. That, like I mentioned at our last meeting, if I were to walk past Ken Branch's office, he wouldn't know my name. After today, probably, but not now, So, and that's the man, those are the people that say you deserve a merit raise. This 1%, we're going to give you an extra 25 cents, or we're going to give this guy an extra $1 or whatever. And the disconnection. The people that control money for Western, that disconnection just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. So, it's concerns. That's the reason I wanted to be a senator, is concerns.
It also seems like a lack of communication too about changes, because if we're putting work orders on we're expecting a level of service that we've gotten before, and all of a sudden that's not, and they're not communicating that. Like, again, you didn't know it was rejected almost immediately. That causes frustration. And I think anybody individual from like our BSAs or our, facilities, friends, I think we all appreciate the work that, you all do. And nobody that works as a BSA in my building is happy about the changes either. So it's definitely something that was a decision made higher up that we're all, you know,
Yeah, I think
having to adjust to.
Did they lay, I'm real quick, I'm sorry,
No,
did
go
they
ahead.
lay off anyone in the BSAs because of this change, or you don't know?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay,
For the staffing that I see in our building, I don't,
okay,
I
good. I
don't
just
think
would
so.
hate for someone to lose jobs.
As
I don't-
far as
I don't know
the
what the-
ESA as far as the ESA goes, they're Sodexo positions, they're not Western.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not Western.
So even if they did lay them off, it's still the same charge to Western.
Right. Whether they have 6 people per building or 3, I mean, we're still.
I mean, from what I understand from conversations, it's more of a keeping people issue.
Oh, okay. She didn't
I
have
mean,
Staffing.
they're working in, you know, that, you know, you're assigned to a building and then now they're working in another building in addition after they finish what they have to do in our building. So that's just from talk, not, you know.
I'd like to also just throw in the liability of injury. You know, if you're doing your own task that maybe you shouldn't be doing, that clearly they could handle in 2 seconds. Right, and have the skill, the tools, and you do it and you get hurt, and where did that lie, you know?
And this situation that, you know, that wasn't an issue, but you are not wrong at all. If it comes down to waiting 6 weeks for us to find a third party vendor, and somebody decides just to go take care of it themselves, whether it be electrical or hanging something on a wall and they have to stand on a ladder and they fall down, and that becomes a workers' comp issue for Western. And that we should have been taken by care and said, because one of guys a tool in the training. And it's ridiculous.
So where I'm at, we don't have, custodian, we've always taken out our own crap, but for you all, that's not part of your, like, what you're supposed to be doing. That's not covered in the workers' comp if you fall down, right? Just exactly like you're saying, like, you get hurt, that's on you because it's outside the scope of your position.
Yeah, that's part of the reason that I think Jordan and I did what we did yesterday, instead of having it, you know, encouraging anyone else to do it or letting them voice frustration, is I'm okay accepting that liability. But I don't think anybody else should. And that's the other challenges. He and I, we understand that we're not covered. We understand there's additional liability. It's one of the reasons I've spoken about my famous elevator outage that is going into its 6th month on the 3rd floor of our building that you know, we have equipment, IT has equipment on the 3rd floor of our building, and we have equipment on the 2nd floor of Jody Richards Hall that needs to transition. Our stuff needs to go to the 3rd floor of our building, and his IT stuff needs to go back to their other building. And we're not moving any of that gear because we have to take it up and down the stairs and it's not safe. So there are limitations that we're putting in there on purpose. And we've relocated some of our operational dispatch gear to the ground floor because of that. And it's those types of accommodations that unfortunately we're making decisions on that we didn't have to in the past, but it has delayed several processes. And that's, you all are right. But it doesn't matter what I say. It's nothing will happen, and yeah. I'll just get. I'm not. You need to move on.
I'm gonna let Taylor talk again because she liked the board. Go ahead.
So, do you all know, are there things that are like accessibility issues that are getting rejected?
I couldn't tell you, we don't see those. We have no information other than what is sent to the new work order system.
You guys only see the work orders assigned to you.
Only the ones that are assigned to us, yes. Nothing more, nothing less. And once we complete a work order, we never see it again.
So those things are getting rejected. There's an accessibility issue. Does that come back to Sodexo or to the university? If somebody gets hurt?
It seems like since Sodexo has a maintenance contract with Western, it should be following them, but I mean, that's up to a lawyer. I'm just a worker.
Are staff members gonna be held liable for that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. I'll say, like, if you're experiencing a problem that is preventing a student or staff member from accessing, like having some restriction about being able to access their workspace, I don't know of any of those. Even even our third floor area, that would not be a component. But like, I think we all have the responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen. So, whether it's related to an outside contract or anything else, if that's an experience that might happen, that's the best answer I have to that. Is that we just have a shared responsibility to make sure people aren't putting that.
Yeah, the main thing is I don't want a student I don't, and we won't, and the students that we have that work on our third floor, they know absolutely do they not carry anything up and down the stairs in terms of boxes or equipment or anything. That's an absolute no, we do not allow it. Now, that's an adaptation, normally wouldn't be an issue, they just roll it onto the elevator, they roll it off the elevator, and everything would be fine. Hopefully, I do know that there's some movement on getting it fixed, and I'll probably have to say thank you after waiting for 6 months.
Speaking of thank you, that's a great segue. No, I don't want to stop anybody else have anything they can say. But part of what I was gonna say earlier is, like, I had this conversation with the president a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. Part of the benefit of working here that isn't monetary compensation is that the other people working with you are here because they care and they want to do a good job. They're here to do a job and do a job well. So thank you for being here and staying here and doing that and letting your voice be heard. I think it's an important part. It's not lost on anybody that sitting in this room and having this type of conversation. I know you made a joke about somebody knowing your name or not, but there are people that might be too concerned about that type of pressure that it would keep them from speaking. So thank you. And thank you all for having the conversation. Again, I don't want to stop anybody if you have comments, but if you don't, we'll move on. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is opportunity for public comment. Anybody has anything, any non-member of the Senate would like to speak? Okay. The only other announcement is our next meeting is January 10th. We'll be back on Zoom, YouTube, and in DSU 2081 at 10 a.m. Again, we'll have an announcement then about details related to the staff region election, that timeline, as well as announce the timeline for the next staff Senate election, so everybody is aware. Thank you all very much.